every single one of you in this room is living in a world that is not that different from the movie I Am Legend, that is not that different from the video game Resident Evil. When you walk down the street, you might not see a zombie actually like a zombie, like, brains, give me brains, trying to bite you and turn you into a zombie. You might not see that literally, but metaphorically, that is your life. What if I told you that you might even be the zombie? And then if you, being the zombie, could find the antidote to being a zombie, you could wake yourself up out of this. What if I also told you that if you understood that you're a zombie, could wake yourself up, but then from there, understand how to communicate to the other zombies, you could eventually make millions upon millions of dollars by selling things to zombies, but in the process of that, in gaining your own personal empire, you could then come back, change the world, and have the resources to wake up the zombies, just like me out here doing free events. These are very expensive to put on. They require money to do, so you gotta know how to make money. So you make money selling to the zombies, and then you can go do charity for free, which I'm doing right here, and you're seeing an example of it, right? You guys enjoying this free event today? Oh yeah! Thank you very much. So I'm here to change your freaking life today, okay? I'm here to change your life, but you can only do that when you have money. So I'm gonna try to show you basically what it is that's going on with people on the street. This is a very deep topic. I'm gonna focus on a specific one, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into how to actually interact with people that are in that mode. So I'm gonna show you how you're in that mode, and then I'm gonna show you how to recognize other people that are in that mode. I'm also gonna help you to understand why, for example, you might get flaked in your social life. Like, why do you get flaked with, say, dates or social gatherings? I'm gonna show you issues surrounding sales and marketing. So we're gonna go very deep. This is gonna be a great talk. So I just wanted to jump in the video to let you know that I'm actually out here today on the beach, practicing what I preach, doing all the things that I tell you to do in these videos. I don't just do seminar videos where I tell you that you should work on your social skills. I go out and I meet and talk to people all the time. Now, as I'm out here doing this, here's what's funny. I've got students that are out here with me watching exactly what it is that I do, and they're kind of blown away by it. But then what I'm doing that I think is blowing them away even more is I'm showing them exactly how to do it so they can get the exact same result. Now imagine for everybody that's out here, for the rest of their lives, if they want to make a business connection, they want to network, they want to make friends, they want to work on making a genuine connection with someone very, very special, they know exactly what to do forever and ever because we came out here and did this work. Well, here's the thing. This work is not for everybody. You've got to be a very, very special kind of person to have what it takes to come out here and do this. You've got to be an action taker. You've got to be somebody who understands the value of knowing how to meet people anytime, anywhere, and realizing that your net worth is your network, okay? When you know everybody, what winds up happening? You make more cash, you're happier, and you wind up raising the vibe for everybody. It's an incredible skill. Well, what I've done is a lot of people have asked me about these trainings, and so I created a brand new website. It's actually brand new, with a very, very deep video that's really shocking. It's a shocking video. It's kind of an intense video, where I go very, very deep on what it is that this looks like. Like, imagine meeting up with me personally and going out and doing this. It's a shocking, crazy experience. And on the website, in the video, I show exactly what it is that you can expect. It's really crazy. So if you want to see this, click the link below. And if you think that you're somebody that has what it takes, because this is not for everybody, and you've got to actually add value to the group, okay? In a situation like this, you can't be a leech. You've got to be someone who's bringing energy and is serious about results. If you think that that's you, fill out the form right on the website, and what I'll do is come and meet up with you in person, and we're gonna learn this together. But again, that's only if you're the right fit. If you think that that's you, you click the link below, and we'll be sitting out here together doing this and change your life. Anyway, click the link, and back to the video. So the first thing I want to say, repeat this after me, people need transitional objects, say that. People need transitional objects. And cannot handle anything real. And cannot handle anything real. Okay, so as an example, babies and toddlers use things like teddy bears and dolls to learn slowly and gradually how to deal with real objects. So, you know, I've got my son Tristan, and he has a bunch of stuffed toys. And he plays with the stuffed toys, and he talks to stuffed toys. Well, he does that because eventually he's going to be dealing with real people. If you look at things like cartoons, they allow you to look at, they allow a child to look at things like good and evil in a way that sort of is a little bit softer, so it doesn't traumatize the child. So you can watch the Smurfs, and you can recognize that Gargamel is bad, the Smurfs are good. You can see different social hierarchies and things within the Smurf group, Papa Smurf, Smurfette, and so on and so forth. So these are transitional objects, okay? Now, from there, take, for example, a young woman, right? Do you think the average a young woman has to get used to meeting a man? Now, when a young woman is thinking about men who she would meet, she's probably not, and this is a good thing, by the way, this is good, I'm not saying this is bad at all, but she's probably not thinking of like some big, hairy, manly man, right? Instead, you have Ken. And Ken is what? Neutered. Say the word neutered.
Neutered.
Okay? Now, if you had a daughter, right, and you got a Ken doll, and it wasn't neutered, you'd be pretty pissed, right? You're like, this doll's not neutered. What the fuck is it? Why are you giving little Sarah a non-neutered fucking doll? You're right. Would you be angry? I'd be pretty angry. Yeah. You want that doll neutered, right? Why do you want your daughter's Ken doll neutered? There's a reason. Come on.
It's too much for a little girl.
I mean, it's disgusting. You don't want her to look at it like, come on, like I'm not even gonna say it, right? Like, think about the alternative here, right? Okay, so you want it neutered, right? Now, the premise of what I'm gonna say in this video is that a lot of y'all here, as grown-ass men, are still needing for things to be neutered. You're still needing for things to be the motherfucking Smurfs, okay? Which is fine if you're a 5-year-old girl or my son Tristan, then yes, play the stuffed toy or a neutered Ken doll. But if you're a fucking adult, it's okay to recognize that when your tooth falls out, there is no tooth fairy, okay? Like, why do we have a tooth fairy for a kid? The kid just lost his fucking tooth, right? That's scary as hell. You say, no, put it under your pillow. The tooth fairy is gonna come and leave you some cash. That makes life a little bit of an easier place. So a lot of the premise of what I'm gonna talk about in today's talk, it's gonna be that the more that you can get out of this neutered, kind of stuffed toy, cartoonified world, and actually confront reality directly and head on, the more money you can make, the better that you can do socially, the better you can do in your dating life, the better that you can do spiritually. So by the way too, I'm gonna say something for some of you. So a lot of you guys in here know that I'm Christian. My personal belief is that the way that most Christianity is understood is the neutered version and is the version that is like the Smurfs. And that the most raw, insane underlying fabric of reality is contained in the Bible. And it is so intense that the average person that's Christian can't even look at it. It's actually too intense. So the ultimate hilarity is this Bible thing that's meant to sort of like make it softer for the fact that we don't know what happens when we die, right? It's like, I'm gonna go to heaven, right? It's meant to actually cartoonify your death so that people can handle the ambiguity surrounding death, when in reality, the underlying fabric of reality is actually in the Bible. It's one of the most crazy ironies in the world, that the thing that's like the average person that would be that would be saying, I'm going to heaven, who can't even just handle their own death, so they just go, I'm a Christian, of Jesus, my Lord and Savior, because they literally need somebody to handle death. But the hilarity, the craziest irony is that the underlying truth of reality is in the Bible. And then, ironically, because the people that are the most realist, like the most objective realist people, won't look at the Bible, because you see the type of personality of someone who looks at it and you say, oh, that's someone who maybe needs a little extra help. Like they kind of can't handle reality, so they need to know how to handle their death. So they wind up being repelled by the Bible, when ironically, the Bible is intense. And if you know how to read it properly, it has the most powerful underlying truths. And truths that are so hard to look at, it could take you decades to even look at those truths, of getting used to seeing reality. So it's kind of it's a very bizarre irony that those are hidden in there. I remember when I first read the Bible, and I spent years just learning how to get out of fiction and get out of the cartoonification and the neutering of the truth. And when I read that, I was just in tears. I was shocked because of what I saw. It was really intense. But anyway, that's something I just want to mention as I go into this. Okay, now, likewise, when girls are teenagers, is a girl who's a teenager going to look at a guy like, say, Jocko Willink, extreme ownership, SEAL team member, if I remember correctly, right? You know Jocko Willink? He's got a big beard with very harsh stubble and a deep voice. Is that who, say, maybe like a girl in, her first year of college or whatever is going to be looking at as like her dream man in most cases? It's actually a pretty exceptional woman who would, and they're out there. But what are common, male idols for, say, a 20-year-old girl? Justin Bieber, who I've met many times. Have you guys ever seen K-pop bands? It's pretty disgusting, actually. I think they call them in Korean fresh meat. It's like these guys that look like girls. I mean, it's like a human, it's an even crazier embodiment of a Ken doll. Have you guys ever seen this? Yeah, look up K-pop stars. It is like it's like guys that look like women that they idolize. You can even look up the Great Happiness Space. You really should do this, by the way. Look this up. It's called the Great Happiness Space, and it's people like those K-pop stars that function as the equivalent of like a male stripper, but rather than stripping, they just run this thing called a host club, and they just run around and women just shell out all their money to them. It's crazy. As far as singers, look at guys like Harry Styles. You guys ever seen Harry Styles? So see, a lot of the time we'll even talk about how the alpha male gets all the girls, but that concept of an alpha male, I mean, we would tend to think of an alpha male a little bit more as like Jocko Willink or maybe like a Daniel Craig portrayal of James Bond, not as Harry Styles. But to a lot of women, the alpha male is Harry Styles. To a lot of women, the alpha male is Justin Bieber. To a lot of women, the alpha male is, Justin Timberlake or something like that. What did you say?
BTS, the Korean band.
What's the name?
BTS.
BTS?
Yes.
It's called BTS. Yeah, should we, here, pull up a picture of it so everyone can see it. Yeah, BTS. Yeah, I mean, when you see this, it kind of defies the imagination because as a guy, you often want to tell yourself, oh, I'll be this big, burly alpha male. When in reality, this like, yeah, look at that. Yeah, look at, he's showing everybody. Look what he's showing you. Like, that's an alpha male. Like, in Korea, those guys would clean up. So that is like, a desirable guy to younger girls because that is like a teddy bear. It's a transitional object. In fact, for any of you in here who've built your empire, who knows what it means to be a quote-unquote real man, the idea of what the average woman thinks a real man is preposterous. Whether that would be somebody like, a musician that has like just way too much jewelry but doesn't actually have their own real empire, or whether it's like, some kind of Harry Styles type character, a quote-unquote real man, which I don't think the average woman has any concept of, has built an empire. I mean, they have slayed dragons that are so intense and so scary, I don't think the average woman would even have a concept of what those dragons look like. I mean, dragons that are so intense and so scary, that's why a lot of women are like, I want to do a business. And you're like, we just tell each other that we like business so that we don't commit suicide. Right? Like other entrepreneurs are like, running a business is really great. It's like so fulfilling. I'm so glad that I don't just like have fun all day. I love this. It's so fulfilling. Like, it's called a let's not commit suicide club. And then women over here, they're like, I want to do that. We're like, it was just so we don't kill ourselves. Like, this isn't good at all. Okay? Like, it's not good at all. Okay? Like, the amount of psychological development that you have to go through to be okay with building an empire, to where it does become easy, to where it really is fun, is an incredible journey. It's an incredible journey that the average person has no concept of. So, you think the average 23-year-old girl sees a guy that runs an empire and she has any idea what that guy's been through and the gap between that guy and Harry fucking Styles? No clue. But that's the point, right? Is that they're on a transitional object, okay? Now, likewise, imagine that you were to walk up to a girl and you said, hey, listen, I spent decades really building a nest where you and I could have children together. And I've done that so that you could feel safe. The world is a scary, fucked up place with a lot of really, really, really fucked up shit. And I've spent decades to make sure that you are safe in every possible situation. Your children with me will see the whole world. They'll have the best teachers. They'll go to Ivy League schools. They will have the best health. They will have the best friends. They will have psychological help. They will have help from people who wrote speeches for presidents. Our children could become a president. Our children have endless opportunity. Our children will see the world. Our children will own the damn world. And I've spent decades going through hell and back to make sure that will happen so that we could have that beautiful family together. And to be honest, a guy like me is about 1 in maybe 100,000. And so it would be a really, really good idea if we were to become a couple. Do you think that would ever work?
No.
Okay, would that ever work?
No.
No, but there's two reasons why. One of it is that it is very self-qualifying. Any guy could just say that, so it's not necessarily an honest signal. But the truth is that even if that was discovered, it wouldn't necessarily be desired. And the reason why is because it's a little bit too real. It's a little bit too real. It's not a transitional object. It's not a teddy bear. It's not a Harry Styles. It's not a K-pop star. And it's just a little bit too real. Because for them to acknowledge that you're the best possible option for them, they would have to see things about the world and understand things about the world that are a little bit too scary. So because of that, it's just a little bit too intense. So, oftentimes you're often better to represent yourself completely differently in the way that you're representing yourself. So just keep a little bit about that, right? So what are things that might work better than saying something like that? Things like funny role plays, like, little funny, cute role plays, dancing, dancing, role playing, right? Like little fun stuff. I don't do this ever because I'm always sober, but a lot of them is drinking. I don't ever do that, but a lot of them do. They wind up getting drunk to meet someone, which I fucking hate. I don't involve myself with that. If someone's drinking, I say no. But that's very, very common. Is that think about that. They disassociate to the point that for a lot of them, they even get drunk. That's how bad and smoke drugs. That's how bad the dissociation problem is. My view, someone intoxicates themselves, leave them the fuck alone. But likewise, it's all about disassociating. They can't just face harsh reality and just pumping their own state and disassociating is their God. It is their God. They will die to maintain their magical reality. Okay, everything from crystals to horoscopes, like all this different stuff. Okay, and look, if you got a woman and she likes crystals and horoscopes, you don't need to. No. I think you just go, of course, baby. Okay, like don't fuck with that shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't go up to my child and go, that fucking teddy bear's not real. Here's a real grizzly bear. Rah! Okay, my kid's eating steak. I don't say, you know what this is? It's a cow that was killed. Here's little cow. Watch me kill the cow. Start like the cow's bleeding out and screaming, right? See, even us, we couldn't even handle seeing the meat that we eat. We can't even handle seeing the meat that we fucking eat. Okay? So it's always disassociating, okay? Other examples would be things, okay, so it's all magical thinking, magical driven thinking. I know people that they can't even handle drinking real orange juice because there's pulp in it. They want to drink Orange Crush or little orange drinks. Cartoons instead of real movies that would show death. Here would be another example. Like my son Tristan, who's young, if we take him to Crater Lake, okay, do you guys know what Crater Lake is? So I always send my kids to these environments where they're gonna see the most shocking nature that's meant to wake you up and to realize that like this world is a lot more intense and magical and insane than we think that it is, right? So Crater Lake is actually a volcanic, stunning, right? It's a volcano. And basically, it's become a giant lake. It's absolutely incredible. But I can show you videos of my son Tristan, like he's right in front of Crater Lake, but it's so majestic that he's not yet ready at 4 years old to handle it. But what he can handle is looking at the little pictures in front of Crater Lake. So he's gonna look at the little cute little pictures in front of Crater Lake that are describing Crater Lake, but he can't look directly at Crater Lake. He can't, do you guys see the Crater Lake in the photos? Stunning, right? So my kid can look at the photos, but he's not ready yet to process the beauty of Crater Lake. To actually process the beauty of Crater Lake or other places like it, like here in Dallas, you guys are a 5-hour drive from Carlsbad, it's 5-ish hour drive from Carlsbad Cavern. Who here's been to Carlsbad Cavern? I would urge you guys, as part, we made a Telegram group here, okay? Why don't you guys make the first thing that you do together a day trip, okay? You could do an overnight hotel in Carlsbad for almost nothing. Like it's literally almost nothing. Drive up early, go hike Guadalupe up there, which is also very beautiful. Guadalupe is right close to Carlsbad Cavern. Carlsbad Cavern is probably one of the top 5 beautiful caves in the entire world, and it's 5 hours from you. But no one here in Dallas will ever go see Carlsbad Cavern almost because it's too beautiful. They won't look at Carlsbad Cavern because they need cartoonified transitional objects like the internet and just stupid shit on TikTok because Carlsbad Cavern is too beautiful. They can't, their mind actually isn't of the sophistication to process that because in looking at Carlsbad Cavern, you'd have to look at God and you can't handle that. You'd see God by seeing Carlsbad Cavern. You would look God right in the face and then you'd have to admit both your smallness but simultaneous bigness, right? You'd realize how small and insignificant you are and yet you'd see how infinite and magnificent you are and you'd see that in Crater Lake. You'd see that in Carlsbad Cavern. Like Carlsbad Cavern can be looked at as like, the whole time you're just making pictures for your phone and you're trying to show it off like in a bit of social media. You just quickly look through it. You say that you went there, you go home. But Carlsbad Cavern could be a place that you go to cry. It could be a place that brings you to your fucking knees. And the truth is that the strong man would be brought to their knees by Carlsbad Cavern. Like you would see that and you just start crying because you're not such a wimp that you block it out. Okay? To look God right in the face should bring you to tears. But you have to have the strength not to need a transitional object, okay? Like those women that are in the movie The Great Happiness Space, that they just find some Japanese host that dresses like a K-pop star to dance around them. They can't handle having a real husband, a real family, real children, the beauty of that and how that would connect them to God as well. They want to be in this sort of like fantastical world of just like, I can't get like Timmy from the host club to love me. And then they just chase him forever and then they just never get him and the whole thing's just ridiculous, okay? So understand that like even in your dating life, you're like, but I'm a good man. You can't figure out why, like maybe someone who you like can't see what it is that you're bringing. A lot of the time it's because what you're bringing is so incredible that they need to always be chasing someone that they can't get. Because that's the transitional object for them. That's like the always striving, never arriving state of mind that they're in, where they can't actually see something beautiful directly. So keep this in mind, but also notice it in yourself, okay? Oh, another one, by the way, another quick one. You know what was so cool about Game of Thrones, as opposed to almost every other TV show? Game of Thrones was the first mainstream TV show that I've ever seen where the main characters get killed left and right. Left and right. That dude's kind of a sicko. He'll kill off your favorite, like you ever see the Red Wedding episode? That guy will kill off your favorite characters. It's building and building and building. And it's always this narrative like he fought through, or they fought through this challenge, and then they went through this other thing, but in the end, it's all gonna come together. But then like randomly they all just get murdered and it was all pointless. That is one of the harder parts of life to look at, where they tell you, just take the risk and it'll pan out. Well, they don't tell you there's a lot of people that took risks where it didn't pan out, but where do you see them? You never even hear from them, right? Like Elon Musk took many risks and then he became the richest man in the world. But in reality, how many other people that you don't know took those risks, failed, and went to jail? Right? Like what would have happened if Trump hadn't have got in to Elon? Oh, that guy's going to jail for sure. He was going to jail. When you see Elon running around Pennsylvania going, please vote for Trump, and he's doing that, why do you think he did that? He's going to jail. He could have easily been in jail. They would have got rid of Twitter. They would have got rid of free speech. They would have either killed him or put him in jail. Look, they still might, but at least now he's got a fighting chance, okay? So understand, there's people that were, political heroes in other countries, and they just got killed. They just died. There's no big legacy. There's no book about them. There's no movie about them. They're just dead. But those are harder things to look at. So the show Game of Thrones showed that. Where, they're like on this mission, like you watch them for 3 seasons on this big mission, and then they all just get killed. And like, there's no point at all. Nothing comes of it. There's no big lesson. It's just the brutal, random coldness of the universe showed in a mainstream show. Yep.
On South America, it's happening the same thing. A lot of heroes in dictatorship, they all get killed.
Yeah, they stand up to the drug cartels or to the political establishment. They just die. That's it. Bye. So that's harder. But in order to be successful, if you can look that dead in the face and take the risk anyway, knowing that you may die, but knowing that is between you and God, that is another paradigm of existence. Okay, so another one of these cycles is people are caught in a spiritual cycle of always striving, never arriving. Repeat that after me. Always striving, never arriving. So believe it or not, okay, I'm gonna make this about me right now. Is that okay if I make this a bit about me? Yeah. Every single person that never did a proper training with me is in that cycle. Anybody who truly wants to arrive would see a guy like me, and they would jump on in 2 seconds. Now here's why I say this. Whenever I'm doing sales, the biggest thing that I'm fighting against as a salesperson with the kind of things that I create is that I know that audience member and potential buyer is so deeply caught in a cycle of always striving, never arriving, that if I actually show them that I can fix it, it works against me. So for example, when I created real life social interaction footage, do you guys remember when I do real life interaction footage? The answer was all there. Part of why I made footage like that was because I knew how much of a challenge socializing was for me. It was really, really hard, right? And I would have paid anything if somebody could have made footage like that so that I could actually learn, because I wanted to arrive so bad. Back then, I would make written articles about what it was that I was doing, okay? And a lot of people were skeptical of what I said in those articles. But I thought, this is crazy. Like once I can show it and I can get it out there, it will be like this ray of light. And all these people who didn't believe it, they're gonna finally get the ray of light because they're going to indisputably see it in front of their face. And the ray of light will come like Gandalf, the magician. And he will and the light will shine, and all the orcs will turn into angels, and they'll see what to do, and then they'll all start going out, and they'll all start getting results. And I thought that. I even thought that the blueprint decoded when I first made it. But you know what I found was you could post videos indisputably showing the answer, and the rate of positive to troll comments was no different. Like I thought that, say that you always had about 80% people that loved it, but 20% were trolls. I thought that if you posted the actual result, that 20% would be like, oh, Owen, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm just a naturally cynical guy. Like, I just don't believe everything I read. It's clearly right there. I'm changed. Thank you, Owen. I'm going to run out tonight and replicate the result. That's what I thought would happen. In fact, if anything, you saw more trolling, more anger on videos like that because they were getting the answer. You were actually taking them out of this always striving, never arriving spiritual state. Look, you remember I said earlier that the hidden truths of life are in the Bible? Part of this is what I'm referring to. Hell is not just a state that starts after you die. Hell starts now. And if someone is in hell and then you, like, imagine that you're burning in hell, and then like this like hole opens up, like, oh, right? It's like, oh, like the light comes down. I'm like, hi guys, it's Owen, right? I'm like, here's a hand, come on out. And it's like, you know, and you're like just burning, right? You're like, it can't be real, it can't be real. It's like, but I'm right here, man, come on, man, it's awesome. Hey, look, if a balding ginger like me can do it, can get out of hell, you can too, man. Come on, man, come on out. Well, that doesn't matter because it's not, like they're addicted to burning right there, right? People often that are burning in hell have this impenetrable look where you just can't reach them. Nothing is gonna reach them, you can't. They're in hell. So heaven, to some extent, is the ability not to make a fairy tale about reality, right? Heaven is not about making, this is really profound what I'm saying here. Heaven is not about making a fairy tale, like, because a lot of the really famous pastors are like, then God's gonna come and he's gonna hear, I'm just kind of exaggerating, but like, and then he's gonna hear that you want a car and you're gonna have that nice new car because God's got your back. Like it's like, maybe not that exactly, but it's that kind of energy. Like it's the sort of energy of it's all gonna work out. But to me, God, it's about seeing the world for exactly what it is to the extent that you can and finding gratitude anyway. It's seeing how ugly, how spiritually ugly and ethically ugly another human being could be and loving them anyway. But not by saying they're good. No, it's by saying they're kind of shit, but I love you unconditionally. Okay? So for example, like say that a guy says to me like women are perfect, or say that a woman says men are perfect. I'm like, that means you hate them. So if a woman were to say to me, men are perfect, I'd say then you hate men. If a guy said to me that women are perfect, I'd say that you hate women. Because why are you trying to make someone, why do you have to make a lie about someone to love them? Why do you have to lie about somebody to love them? What I could say is men and women can be shit and have good qualities. It's within a gray area. I'm not gonna idealize or demonize. And I'm gonna love them anyway in spite of it. And that I'm kind of shit, and that I love myself in spite of it. And that the world's kind of shit and beautiful, and I'm gonna love the world in spite of it. That's real spirituality, not making a lie. If you're making a lie about something, that means that you hate it. That means that you hate it so much that you can't even look at it. You can't even look at it. You hate it that much. Like, I know that women have hypergamy. I love them anyway. I know that women can lie. I love them anyway. I know that women can cheat. I love them anyway. I know that women can leave you. I love them anyway. I've been left by women and cheated on by women. Love them anyway. Love all my exes. I'm not perfect. They're not perfect. We shared a moment. That moment didn't last till one of us died. Doesn't make it any less beautiful. You might argue it makes it more beautiful. It was this rare moment that you shared with a girl until it maybe exploded. Part of nature, guys. Nature's crazy. But you love nature anyway. That's real spirituality. That's connecting to God. Loving reality. Not needing this kind of cartoonified version of reality to love life, okay? So, yeah, I really believe that the reason why women would chase a guy like a Harry Styles or a K-pop guy is they're not ready to be truly happy. They're chasing somebody that doesn't exist. Like Harry Styles not gonna be your boyfriend. The K-pop guy's not gonna be your boyfriend. That fuckboy that you're trying to get into a relationship, you're only chasing him specifically because he makes you unhappy, because he keeps you in hell. That Jocko Willink type manly man that would make your life a heaven on earth, those beautiful children that you'd have that would make your life a heaven on earth, you're not ready for heaven yet. It's this weird disassociated state. Part of the depopulation that's going on, you see how birth rates are plummeting, is people are in that state. Even a lot of the things that you'll see where like different dating experts talk about their opinions of relationships, but none of them would ever actually be in a relationship. You ever see this? Like they're like, you know what a relationship should be? It should be like this. Like, are you in a relationship? They're like, well, no. Like they're not even out of it. It's all just this kind of hypothetical idealization, chasing phantoms, always striving, never actually arriving. For example, people will say to me, Owen, are you gonna be a billionaire? As soon as someone tells me that I'm gonna be a billionaire, guys, I'm a coach, I have an 8-figure business, but I don't have a $1 billion business. As soon as somebody tells me I'm gonna be a billionaire, I know that they're disassociating. Anybody who says like, I wanna be a billionaire, unless you're actually on a proven trajectory to be a billionaire, you're probably never gonna make 100,000. You're probably never gonna make 10,000. As soon as a guy tells me billionaire, That's like the girl that thinks they're gonna marry Harry Styles. Like, bro, or girl, you've got a great man that wants to marry you right now, who would make your life amazing. You'd have children who would make your life amazing. You'd be so happy. But I'm gonna marry Harry Styles. That's the person that thinks they're gonna be a billionaire. Like, if I think I'm gonna be a billionaire, I can't enjoy the moment that we're sharing right here that is infinitely better than me just chasing, say, some investment portfolio that would make me a billionaire. Yeah. Okay? So that would block my joy. So it's a disassociation. Okay? We have to realize the trajectory that we're actually on, stretch for sure, but love the trajectory that we're actually on to really experience it so we can enjoy our life before we die. So it's this always striving, never arriving. It's why people look at TikTok instead of just going to Carlsbad Cavern. You know what that would, like in LA, we have Sequoia National Park is only 3 hours away. It's the biggest tree in the whole world by volume. And people will say, I want to be a billionaire, but they never would actually go see the biggest tree in the world. But what could you get that's better than seeing the biggest tree in the world? I mean, obviously there's like, you know, better this or that, it's a matter of personal taste. But that would be like seeing like the best cave in the country or the biggest tree in the world are among the most incredible things that one could do if they're prosperous. But you can already do that for free, but you don't go. You don't actually want to be rich. You're just disassociating from it, okay? So I don't disassociate. Like, I want to win. I want to go to the best parks. I want to go see the best stuff. I want to go have fun. I want to enjoy my life. I want to date great people. I want to have fun with my kids. Like, I want to be here with you guys. It's real to me. When I have an idea, I just go do it. That's why I have what I have, is because I just want it and then I just go get it. So here's another level to this, okay? This gets really, okay. I'm gonna show you guys, like, these are the kind of things that could take decades to see, but once I show it to you, you're gonna see it flat out. Even when you're talking to a girl, if there's sort of a harsh reality tone in your voice, not that exact tone, but I'm just saying to cartoonify it, okay? A very like real tone in your voice, actually the average woman would lose attraction. Okay? Often the guys that you see that are the best of women are talking this kind of floaty way. The guys that I know that crush it the most, it's more like a Harry Styles kind of guy. They're creating these kind of like floaty environments. You notice that when you meet a girl, it's like you're always kind of joking. It's always like, ha, 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 ha. It's like we're role playing. Oh, we're getting married now. Oh, now we're divorcing. Like little funny role plays. It's never real. And the best part is they'll all tell you they want it to be real. Like, I'm so sick of all these players. But then all they did is players. Like, it's great. Like, you know, it's like even that's just part of the self-lie. It's like all these guys, like, I'm so sick of not being rich. But then they just continue to look at TikTok. It's just all part of the deceit. So, you know, I remember there was that Nicki Minaj line where she's like, I'm sick of all this fake love. I want real love. But then she's dating like some guy that went to prison. Like she'll find the old, like Nicki Minaj could find so many well put together men of any background, any race, whatever, well put together, that would give her a phenomenal life. But somehow, some way she'll find like the one dude that just got out of jail to get married to. So she's not ready to just live at peace. She's not ready to be at peace. She's not ready to be happy yet. That there's not enough preparation for happiness there. She's not ready to arrive. It's always, well, if only he'd be like this. If only he'd be like that. But it's never actually just arriving. See me? I see someone like that. Like I see someone who's a troublemaker around. I'm like, no. Like I just want to be happy. You got to go. I'm good. I'm chill. I'm good. I'm okay. Goodbye. Right? Like it's like I just want to be happy. But other people will say that, but they don't actually live it. They always want to strive. They never want to actually arrive. Look, if you guys, real quick question, yeah?
With outwitting the devil, this is what I would imagine to be the same, where people are drifting.
Drifting.
The dark consciousness, or the devil's actually taking them away from what they and I and we actually want.
Yes.
Yeah.
The drifting, the dabbling, the procrastinating, anything to keep you in this drifty fucking state. Now, when you guys see my trainings, everything about it screams rubber meets the motherfucking road, right? If I would do videos, it's like real life social interactions. We're not gonna make a podcast about it. We're not gonna talk about it. We're gonna show it, we're gonna do it. Or, you know, let's go out and actually socialize. We're not gonna talk about it. We're not gonna theorize about it. We're not gonna make a fucking Bristol board with your values. We're not gonna do a little pen to the paper. We're gonna go out and we're gonna fucking do it, okay? But here's what you don't realize. That limits my reach as a business owner. Actually getting results, one of the profound truths in the Bible is when you do something good, don't do it for the money, don't do it for the validation, do it between you and God. If you go build a self-help company that actually produces results, you don't get paid more for that. You don't get more fame for that. You don't get more validation for that, but God sees it. Okay, so for example, the best ever product in dating, it was called the Dick Magnet. It's actually what's called Pandora's Box. You can look this up. Actually look this up. It's hilarious. And literally it was like, you can get this girl by putting a magnet on your dick. And anyone who saw this video knew that there was no possible way that this works. Nobody on earth believes that there's a dick magnet. But that sold millions, hundreds of millions of dollars in sales. Why? Because it's fake. The dick magnet will always outsell actually going out and just fixing it because they don't want to fix it. Here's what this is the distinction. The logical mind, call that theoretically 10%, and the energy body, what you're addicted to, like your energetic self, might be like 90%. So the logical mind, like of Nicki Minaj, is like, I just want a nice guy. But the emotional energy body is like, I'm not ready to arrive spiritually. I want to live in hell. So when she vocalizes, I just want to meet a nice guy, that's not in her energy body. Likewise, when a guy says, I just want to be rich, I go, okay, let's get rich. Look, you can hear in my voice, I don't suffer fools, I'm not fucking around. Like, you hang out with me, like, you're getting rich. Now, right? But the thing is, even that, like, like, you could clip this in TikTok, and you could put this in, there's whole entire massive following YouTube channels where all they do is they are like the satanic guardians of the false reality. Where all they do is like troll people, like anybody who's actually improving, they troll on it. And the reason why is because like they just their average viewer sits around all day smoking weed, just looking at dumb shit to self-indoctrinate why they shouldn't take action. They're just self-indoctrinating on why to not take action. So someone who's taking action is going to look a little bit weird, a little bit goofy, you know, because something like this where I'm trying to drive you out of being in a fucking haze, and I'm like, now! Well, if you actually want out of the haze, you're going to thank me for that. You're like, dude, like, thank you, man. Like, I'm in a haze. Like, I need to be fucking screamed at. But if you're enjoying being in the haze, then what does a guy like me look like? Jarring. Looks like this jarring idiot to be mocked. So to somebody who wants, like, this is what I would say to someone who's in the haze, who's looking at you guys like, what the fuck are these guys even listening to this motherfucker for? That, like, how do they even listen? I hate this guy. Like, he's the worst. Do you guys ever see people that maybe hate my stuff or other teacher stuff and you're like, why do they hate it? This is good stuff. It all stems to what type of psychology they're in. Somebody who, the amount of people that actually want out of this derpy ass hell of disassociation, that actually don't want to just dream about the K-pop star or Harry Styles, the amount of people that actually want to date, like, if we go on the street and we interview women and say, who would you rather date, Harry Styles or Jocko Willink? What's the ratio going to be between, you know, like what Justin Timberlake used to be, or Harry Styles, or I don't know, who are these other guys? Like these other guys from, there was like some group called One something. What's the name of the Harry Styles group? Anyone know?
One Direction.
One Direction, right? There's some other one, Zach something, right? Like these like guys that don't even exist. They're like an adult version of a Ken doll, like a neutered Ken doll, that basically just could never actually take care of them, just dances around with like a pearl necklace on, but then they never have to actually arrive. They never actually have to have children. They never actually have to like feel good. Okay, so but then like if we go ask people out on the street about that, they're like 99 out of 100 or something. I don't know what the exact number will be. Don't want Jocko Willink. Now, don't want Jocko Willink. They want Harry Styles. Now, an older woman who's been to hell and back with these motherfuckers is like, look, like, no, like, those Harry Styles is a woman. He's a boy. Please give me Jocko Willink. It only took me till I'm 46 to realize that. And then they still jump on Harry Styles, okay? Like, the addiction runs deep. It's like a heroin addict that's like, I'm no longer going for the Harry Styles guy. But then Harry Styles can be like, I love you, Harry. Okay, like they're barely out, and they'll relapse within 2 seconds, okay? So even the ones that say they want Jocko, it's like, they're like, Jocko. But really Harry, right? It's like they're not actually out of it. But it's because of the disassociation. Like, they don't want to actually have the beautiful children, have the support, like from a good-looking alpha male, powerful man that would give you better kids than Harry Styles would. So we talk about like the alpha male gets the girls. That's not even always true. The guys that I know who do the best with girls are not like classical James Bond alpha males. It's just that's more a cartoonification of what a guy wishes he could be. That's more a dissociation of what a man wants to be. Like this like heroic man in a suit, right? The girls are not even big fans of suits in a lot of cases. They like it if you can pull off a suit, but they also like guys wearing nonsense. So the guys that I see that are often the best in dating speak from this kind of floaty, disassociative world. For example, let's say that you asked a woman on a real date. Try that one in 2024. I want to take you on a real date. Let's actually talk about solving your problems. Like, let's actually talk about you having a family. Let's actually talk about you being out of this cock carousel. Let's actually talk about you being mad about last 3 players that wouldn't call you back. Let's, like you could be better looking, richer, more funny, more alpha, everything better than the last 3 idiots that didn't call back. But if you show that you're real, most people couldn't handle that. But they'll say that they can because that's the 10%. The 10% of their brain is like, no, that's what I want. It's like if I ask you guys, do you want to be rich? Do you guys want to be rich?
Fuck yeah.
You don't. Because if you did, you'd already be there. There's so much money that if you wanted to be rich, you would have there's like a rushing river of money. You would have taken the cup, you would have grabbed the money and drank. See, guys, I like only working 2 months a year. I like it. You don't. Because if you liked it, see, I like the finer things, right? So because if you liked the finer things, you would have already been taking advantage of the free finer things. If you loved the finer things in life, you would have already gone to Carlsbad Cavern. You would have said, the most beautiful cave in the world, that's certainly one of the finer things in life, is sitting 5 hours up the road. I'm going. Oh, there's one of the top art galleries in the world here in Dallas. I'm going. You'd have already gone. You would have already gone to the John F. Kennedy 6th floor museum and explored it. That's a beautiful place to go. I like the finer things. So one of the first things I teach people to do is like, go do all the free stuff. Like there's a lot of really expensive free stuff that you can do. And what'll happen is once you start doing that stuff, you don't want to look at TikTok anymore. You're like, I don't want this. I don't like for example, you wouldn't want to look at porn all the time if you got used to actually dating really amazing women. It wouldn't appeal to you anymore. I don't have a problem with video games because it's not good enough for me. I don't have a problem with porn because it's not good enough for me. I don't have a problem with the internet because it's not good enough for me. I don't have a problem with poverty because that's not good enough for me. I like reality. I like real stuff. So I have a taste for that. Most of you don't have a taste for it, and even if you went to Carlsbad Cavern, you'd actually be miserable. The hell in your mind wouldn't match to the heaven in your presence. It wouldn't connect to it. I've dated women where you think being some rich guy, making a girl's life incredible would be appreciated. And you watch as they start having meltdowns, crying fits, because you bring them somewhere beautiful and it's not a match. I remember one time when I was first getting used to this lifestyle, I went to Napoli Coast and it was so beautiful that I hiked off the hill in like a demonic trance because it was so beautiful that I couldn't handle recognizing the smallness of who I was, but also the simultaneous infinite nature of who I was. And Napoli Coast, which is the most beautiful hiking trail in all of Hawaii, showed me that. Okay, you don't need to take a drug like ayahuasca or DMT to have a psychedelic trip. It's just called the Napoli Coast, guys. It's called Carlsbad Caverns, guys, okay? Go do that first. Try that first, okay? And it's so beautiful that your brain can't process it. It's so incredible, your brain can't process it. Like a lot of guys say, oh, I want to get better with dating. I want to date attractive or amazing women. No, you don't. You want to look at porn, and then you want to look at a bunch of girls that you can't get and be mad. That's what you actually want. You're not serious about it. It's like this permanent loop of never actually arriving. And then a product like the dick magnet will appeal to you because then it appeases, it offers appeasement to that 10% part of the brain that actually wants better results, but will never actually get you there. So the energy body that still lives in hell is not threatened. So that's why something like the dick magnet is the perfect product. If all that you cared about was money, you'd create products that would sort of like speak to the 10% part of the logical brain that wants better, but speaks to the energetic part of the brain that shows that better will not actually happen. And by the way, the best guys I've ever seen at dating, that to me, like, they're taking it almost a little too far. They have that much success. Guys like a Harry Styles, like Drake, like supreme level fuckboys, they're doing that. Like a guy like Drake is like a apex fuckboy who basically is like, does a little dance. Like you clearly know this guy will never commit to you. You clearly know that like it's never going anywhere. You clearly know that you're burning down your prime dating this guy where it's going nowhere, and that you're sharing him, but you'll go for him anyway because it helps you to dissociate. I'm going on a plane, I'm seeing Drake. Like who cares? You got fucked by Drake. You got your pussy beat up by Drake. Like what did that do for you? What did that do for him? What did that do for anybody? But it's just keeping the fantasy going of like this like weird kind of like, yeah, right? And even in places like Hollywood, in the Hollywood scene, you'll see people on cocaine, they're going to different parties, they just want to be disassociated. They don't want to actually see reality, okay? It's created a depopulation element to where population is going down. It's also created to where now the population is more compliant, so crazy ass things like 2020 happen, everyone just goes with it, because people are in a disassociated state. You can scare them more easily, you can control them more easily. Okay, so let's keep going. Does that resonate with you guys?
Yes.
Getting you thinking a little bit?
Yeah.
So me at my core, again, look at the trainings that I do. The trainings that I do, it's like we're going out or we're looking at actual interactions. Like it's things like that, right? Like the trainings that I do are for people who actually want the result. But anything where you're showing the actual result, it's almost like there's this sort of metaphorical satanic force that wants to stop that from happening because that force is obedient to the trance. It's obedient to the disassociation. The ultimate associating to realities in the Bible, and that takes you even past just getting money or getting girls or anything like that, takes you way past that to this whole other level of reality. But by the way, if I teach you that level of reality, you won't want to listen to anything that I say. Because what is the ultimate lesson of the Bible, actually? What is the ultimate lesson of Jesus? Well, when you elevate, what's going to happen?
You may get killed.
Right? So if I tell you, like, you know you're winning, you know, when you get killed, now sign up. Okay, right? So that's like, so see, even me, with a lot of what I'm showing you, is, because if you ultimately shine a light that is so bright that you're breaking down that disassociation, that's not necessarily gonna have the best consequences, okay? Like you're not doing, like if you build something like that, you're not doing that for the money. That is really between you and God. So that is the lesson in the Bible is like in Sermon on the Mount is when you're operating at that level, that is between you and God. If you're just getting paid off it or if you're just getting validation from it, that's all you're gonna get. You wanna go directly to God, you do something that might not be technically in your best interest on the surface. So things like giving are so central in the Bible because it shows you coming out of the trance, the me, it's me trance, and you're actively giving to another person and recognizing the infinite nature of another person and how your infinite nature is connected to their infinite nature. So it's actually bringing you even past that disassociation and really recognizing the underlying fabric of reality. But again, it's really heavy stuff, right? And the average person who's like, Jesus, my Lord and Savior, I'm going to heaven, they are way too disassociated to fully even understand the depth of those truths. And those are really deep truths I'm barely scratching the surface of here. So, okay, it's actually you being reborn. It's actually a rebirth, okay? So birth doesn't just happen upon coming out of the, birth is a continuum, right? From conception to out of the womb, to childhood, to adulthood, to awakening. And it's the reawakening of the soul, right? Like when Jesus did not get mad at the people who persecuted him and he died, that was the death of that level of consciousness for a rebirth and an awakening of the soul. Okay, so it's showing like really, really, really heavy, this is really heavy stuff that for the average person is some of the most advanced self-help, quote unquote, we'll call it self-help, like demeaning it, basically calling it self-help, but you know, like it's the most extreme advanced self-help on the planet, but that somehow, I don't know how, got mainstreamed. But what's weird about it is that the mainstreaming of those truths blocks the more profound truths from the very people that are looking at the mainstream version of it. It's the most bizarre thing you'd ever see. It's absolutely bizarre, okay? Now, and by the way, the system is self-reinforcing because if I try to sell anything after a speech like this, my sales will be zero. I can't sell. Once I've said this, I can't sell anything. Nobody's buying anything as soon as I give the speech, okay? This is the kind of speech you do after you did your pitch. And the reason why is because the pitch, you talk to the energetic parasite. You speak directly to the disassociated part that goes, I want to be rich. I want to have social success. Woo, 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 right? Like you want to talk to that part, which is a fun part. And by the way, through that success, you go through challenges that can take you into the spiritual domain. You actually can, because it challenges you. It's better than just sitting there staring at a wall and praying. A trillion%. So it's actually a stepping stone. That's why I think it's important. But the deeper underlying truth is so intense and so crazy that it takes you years to even be able to look at it. It takes preparation to see the truth is decades in the making for the average person. It's decades in the making. And it's you just continually training by leaning into your edge and allowing these really, like the hugeness, but also the smallness that scares you, and it scares that little egoic parasite, like what Eckhart Tolle would call it, an ego, the way he calls it. It scares that thing and it kills it, and you have to lean into that thing so that you can actually get through to base level consciousness. And it takes, in my view, there's some people that are gifted with it, some people that are raised with it, but for a lot of people, it's decades in the making to get to that baseline consciousness. And it's been my real passion my whole life, actually, just going on that journey and getting closer to it. Okay, so being able to drink the real orange juice, not the orange crush, but of life. Being able to date the Jocko Willink if you're a woman, not the Harry Styles of life. Okay. By the way, I spent my whole life obsessed with this. I went to Africa to watch lions kill impalas. I've watched as lions go, as bones explode and there's blood everywhere. I've been to the shanty towns and favelas in Brazil or the shanty towns in Mexico. Like, I went to these places. I actively sought out these places. One of the reasons that I wanted to learn about all the dating success stuff was that I wanted to know the truth. I wanted to not be told everyone's nice, everyone's like this. Like, I wanted to see the raw, brutal hypergamy. I wanted to see the lack of integrity, the way that it all works, and to love anyway. That was my thing, was to love anyway. I wanted to see the truth, but love anyway. That's what real love is to me. I felt that I couldn't truly love unless I could see the full black and white, see the gray area, and love in spite of it, and love, in fact, even more strongly because of it. Recognizing someone's flaws, and that's what makes them real, not a fake cartoon. That realness is what makes them beautiful. Okay? So even being able to look at something scary and finding the beauty of it, that and the beauty in it is real spirituality in my view. Okay, so for example, if I talk to somebody about really changing their life, they want to talk about it like, yeah, like as a state pump. But if you actually stop and really talk about what it would take to change their life, they start to panic and tune out and get the fuck out of there. So realize that as well, right? So any of you in here, I could be like, who here wants to be a millionaire? And everyone's like, whoa, yeah, like all that kind of stuff. But I'm like, okay, so let's like actually just sit down, like actually do it. Oh, no, I have to go, I have a thing I have to do tonight. You'll tune out, okay? So my art form has been actually doing it. So call me a weirdo that I actually like these things. Here's another one. You ever date someone who begs for exclusivity forever, and then you finally give it to them, and what happens?
They left.
Because all that they wanted the whole time, they were only dating you because you wouldn't give it. They were only dating you because you were a vehicle to keep them in the always striving, never arriving loop. That's all that you were. So you're finally like, you know what? I'm ready. I'm ready to be vulnerable. I'm ready to open up. Boom, they're out of there. Because you were only a vehicle for them to never actually arrive. Okay? I've had people that I've worked with who complained and complained and complained and complained. And I took them seriously. I actually listened. I took all their grievances seriously. I was patient. I listened. And I was so obsessed with making sure that anyone that I worked with was happy that I would just work 24 hours a day to fix all their grievances. You know what I found was? If I fix all their grievances, right at the final grievance that I fix, they leave. They are gone. Some of them even said to me on the phone, they're like, you know, Owen, I made a lot of complaints the last couple years, and you really worked hard to fix them. And I'm like, then why are you leaving? And they're like, well, you know, I just think it's the right thing to do. I'm on my self-improvement journey and got to spread my wings. And you're just like, what was all this? Like, what the fuck was all this? You know, right? And you'll have it with women too. Women that you'll date, women will have it with men they date, same-sex couples. You work and work and work to finally give them what they want, and then when they finally get it, they're out of there. Because they're in that loop of their personal hell of always striving, never arriving, and the only, what your purpose was, what you were providing to them was a way to always strive and to never arrive. In fact, many of these self-help teachers, these kind of syrupy self-help teachers that lack intensity and lack spark, that are like, hi, I just know that everyone should love themselves and everyone is special and this is just so cool. Like a lot of those gurus that are very bubblegum, syrupy self-help gurus, most of their clients are not getting money. Most of their clients are not expanding their life. Most of their clients are not actually evolving. It's all just a giant cope. And then if somebody comes along that's like, could we just take all these things that you're talking about that are awesome and actually do them? And they're like, ew, I don't like the way you're talking right now. Ew, ew, ew. They're not actually serious about it. Okay, they're not actually serious. Even enlightenment groups, spiritual enlightenment, that is a huge one like that. For example, like you go to an ashram and it's like, you're gonna enter non-dual consciousness. Just sit there staring at a wall for 12 hours a day on a 12-hour-a-day silent retreat. But of course, like they never get there. They never actually transcend. So that they call it enlightenment because they're always waiting to get there. That's why I always say that the deepest spiritual truth is I'm an idiot. Don't make it separate from yourself. I'm going to become enlightened. It's just another way to make this giant ideal that ignores the degree of presence that you could lead into now. It's all about the power of now. That's why I like Eckhart Tolle. Now. Okay? I can show people places that they would want, that they should travel all day to look at that. I want to go there. I want to go there. I go, cool. Could we actually go? Oh, I'm busy. How many times as an experiment do you think I've offered to pay for people to travel? How many times?
Hundreds.
If you see me doing free events where I'm like, yo, just come out and I'll help you for free. What do you think I'm like with like my social circle and friends when it comes to travel? I'll pay for it, bro. Bro, I'll pay for it. Let's go. They won't go. They won't actually go. It's like, well, I have this thing I have to do. They're addicted to always striving, never arriving. They're in a fucking disassociated fucking trance. Okay? You'll see people that are always talking about how bad their ex was, but not even just enjoying the person who's with them now. People say they want to be rich, but then they won't even go experience the billions of free infrastructure that they have available. They don't actually want to be rich. They don't resonate with actually arriving. They resonate with always this loop of someday. There's a book called The Kabbalion. I'd recommend that you look at that. In The Kabbalion, they say milk for babes, meat for strong men. Repeat that after me. Milk for babes, meat for strong men. Okay? One of the brutal, brutal realities that The Kabbalion shows you is the extent to which you're at the cause of your own reality. And recognizing, again, the smallness, but also the infinite nature and basically how big you actually are. It's too scary for people if they read the Kabbalion. Realizing the extent to which you're at the cause of your life, way too scary for most people. In the Kabbalion, they say like as below, so above. And the idea of that is like you can literally change what's in here, and then what's out there starts to change as well. And you don't realize the extent of your creator nature. You don't realize that. Like your creator nature is way more profound than you think. But people are terrified of it. So, you show someone the Kabbalion, they might want to kill you. You show someone the truth of what's in the Bible, of how profound it is, and how much they could change their life, they might want to kill you. You show somebody videos of real life social interactions, they might want to kill you. You show somebody that they're not a victim and that they actually have incredible resources. For example, they live in America, they have incredible resources. They may want to kill you. Do you understand? They may want to kill you. Actually kill you. Okay? Look, if you're out on the street and you're just really high vibe doing videos, and that parasitic energy that's in some people sees you really shining, sometimes people that are very negative will come up and start yelling at you or throw stuff at you or try to punch you. Because you're breaking down the dissociative trance, which does not allow the parasitic consciousness to exist, so you're threatening the energetic parasite that's on the person. There's a life that you are threatening. So when Jesus is actually getting rid of demons, what he's doing is he's getting rid of energetic parasites. Okay, energetic parasites are real. Demons are real. Let me say that again. Demons are real. I'm explaining it right here. It's an energetic parasite that is living within a level of energetic reality that is keeping the human being there. It is a flywheel that is happening. Now, here's how it happens, okay? Look, imagine if you have somebody who's addicted to heroin. Now, if they have to go get a needle and put it in their arm, there's at least a stopgap. There's a stopgap. Now imagine if that same person addicted to heroin could just press a button and then get a heroin. Now it's less of a stopgap, at least they have to press it. Now imagine if they just had to have a thought and it would unleash the heroin. Now there's no stopgap. Now here's what, by the way, the things I'm gonna say to you guys is so crazy. This is so fucking crazy what I'm saying to you. It's too bright to look at. Like there's too much light coming through, even though I'm just yelling kind of weird right now. But there's too much light coming through right now for you to even process what I'm saying. It's because just this one sentence should have you reeling for a year, but you won't process it fully. Imagine if you just released the heroin by having a thought. Eventually the flywheel would happen to where the momentum of the heroin addiction and heroin release of the mind, that momentum would overtake the conscious thinking of the releasing of the heroin. And that's the fucking parasite. That's the demon. Okay? So initially it's the person's will is, their will is downgrading as they go get needles. Like, I just need a needle, I just need a needle, I need a hit, right? It's downgrading, but there's still something there. Sort of, not really, but like a little bit, right? But then what happens is, then they can just press a button and there's less of them there. Now they just have a thought and now they're just like that, and it actually begins to alter the thoughts. The momentum of the flywheel would alter the thought, where all that the thought would be is heroin, 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 heroin. So even though the person's in bliss of the heroin, they're no longer there. They're gone. That's the deal with the devil. There's lesser versions of this that are happening in your life that are rendering you unconscious to where there's no one actually home. There's no spiritual self that is there. The person is on autopilot. You remember I said at the beginning of this video that you walk down the streets like Resident Evil or like I Am Legend? That is where most people are at. That when Jesus gets rid of a demon, Jesus getting rid of that energetic, from my point of view, is getting rid of that energetic parasite and bringing people back to base consciousness. They're bringing them back alive. If you're in that mode, you're actually partially dead. You're actually, so what that means, what you need to consider is that many of you in this room are dead. You're not even here. So I'm talking to you, and now you're just hearing me talk about this for a little bit, right? You're just hearing me talk about this for like a little minute, right? And then you'll leave and you'll go home and you'll forget about the talk. Or someone will watch a video of this, they'll go home, they'll leave, and they'll forget about the talk. I live this reality 24 hours a day. I live it because I coach personal growth. And what happened to me, just to be honest with you, was I coached all these guys for years, and I see guys hitting walls, and I'm like, I'm giving them everything. Like, why are they hitting these walls? Like, this is crazy. And I start to dig deeper, and I'm like, trying to understand what the hell's going on. And all the lying that I'm hearing from people saying that they actually want success. How come the dick magnet's more popular than my stuff? You know, just like things like that, right? That's really what this is all about. So it's this thing where you'll forget about this and then go on being an empty shell and living that empty shell reality. And what'll happen is that parasite that's running you will generate an entire ecosystem and web around you to reinforce itself. It, just like a spider or a mouse creates an entire ecosystem, the parasite that's on you, you will seek out friends that keep that negativity there, significant others that keep that there, jobs that keep that there, lifestyles that keep that there. You'll make a whole web. So you better wake up, because every day that you go by, it's like you're digging a tunnel in the wrong direction. It's bad. So books like the Bible are meant to dissolve the parasite, but ironically, what the parasite does is to in order to hide the Bible, puts all these people around it that have the disassociated version to hide the Bible. Is that, so what they do is that they take the best stuff and they kind of like recontextualize it and they hide it, okay? So just keep that in mind. The very, very, very best stuff is often behind this veil of absurdity. Say the word veil of absurdity. Veil of absurdity. Okay, so what they'll do is they'll make something so absurd that you can't, that you're like, oh, that's just dumb. But then you actually go down the rabbit hole and you're like, this is far more profound than I ever imagined. It's really, this is so intense. But then you see all these people that are around it that just look ridiculous and you can't figure out why. Okay. Yeah.
That's why I used to, as a child, kind of be annoyed with kids in class, like Bible class. 'Cause I could tell, like, y'all are telling me this is a reality, but it's like discernment is the word that I'm going for. But you're telling me it's...
Give me the quicker version.
It's real.
Louder and quicker. See how much this is about you? You're having a moment right now. Look at me, look at me. It's important. You're having a moment, which is great, but you're droning on. You're not getting the point and no one can hear you. So it just sounds like someone's mumbling in the corner. You have the parasite. That's what I'm getting at, bro, okay? Now, because me. Okay, so me's gonna get rid of the parasite. Me, then it gets you there. You see what it does? Me. I'm gonna get rid of the parasite. It's all about me getting rid of my parasite. Again, keep you in the smallest. It's lies upon lies upon lies upon lies upon lies. Veils upon veils upon veils upon veils. Halls of mirrors upon halls of mirrors upon halls of mirrors upon halls of mirrors. It's very, very hard to slip out of it. So go to Carlsbad Cavern, okay? So that's the start, okay? So, okay, a little bit different than our speech from earlier, huh? Earlier one's a little fun. This is like some weird, like I'm reading out of a laptop and I'm getting all crazy. Man, make it good, bro. If you're gonna ask, make it good.
So I want to just simplify it to what you were saying. If our dopamine addiction,
Louder.
If our dopamine addiction is so strong that our attention span is lower than a goldfish,
Yeah.
what level is your consciousness at?
Exactly. If your attention span is lower than a goldfish, like they're saying, that's where we're at collectively. So that's what I was saying in the intro about Resident Evil reality, okay? And it's like, oh, all them are the zombies. You are the zombie, okay? I don't walk around like I'm the good one and they're the bad ones. I'm like the zombie who's like, wait a minute. Oh, shit. Fuck, I'm a zombie. Tell the other zombies. And then they're like kind of half listening. Like that's what I think of me. I'm not like, oh, I'm the holy one, okay? Stop, okay? Stop. Okay, now, okay, otherwise you have what's called the Dunning-Kruger effect, where you think you're smart when you're not. So now, okay, another big one. Let me give a couple more dissociation. Waikiki in Hawaii is the fake version of the real Hawaii. So I lived in Waikiki, right? And you see all these little tourists going with like their Gucci bag and their Chanel bag. They go to like Waikiki Beach. The real parts of Hawaii are so beautiful that they would give you a spiritual awakening. So what they do is they make a fake Hawaii beside the real Hawaii to hide the real Hawaii. Okay? So it's the same thing that's going on here. Okay? It's like these fake Fugazi versions. Is there a word for that? Like a false imitation? Fugazi? Is there a facade? Yeah. Yeah, there's probably a better word for it. Like kabuki theater would be another word where it's like just all these people acting like this. It's like LARPing. Yeah, it's like, you guys know the word LARPing, live action role playing? It's like super funny. You ever seen LARPing? It's hilarious, okay? It's like all these people acting like they're in a Dungeons and Dragons thing, but in real life. It's like Waikiki is LARPing Hawaii. Harry Styles is LARPing a real husband. Okay, it's the LARPing version. The dick magnet is the LARPing version of RSD. So just keep that in mind, okay? Another one too, this is really huge. Book of Exodus, worshiping the golden calf. People worship an idol rather than the real God. So, you know, when you see someone screaming for a pop idol or screaming at something other than God, like having that degree of worship for something other than God, is because they can't handle that intimate connection with real God, okay? You asked a question about recognizing certain things. I have some notes on that here. Internally take note of how your body reacts when you read or observe something that's very, very high vibration and something that can change your life. Begin to observe how your body reacts. Begin to cultivate that degree of recognition is very, very key, okay? And you can tangibly feel when you're not ready for that level of reality, that height of reality, okay? So for example, I can remember when I was younger, I'm hyper negative. I would go for dinner with people that are very, very positive, and I actually found it exhausting. I'd go for dinner with some of my friends that are super happy guys. One of them was like my buddy Zan Perrion, if you guys know him. And I'd go for dinner with Zan, and I'd come back exhausted because Zan was so happy, and I was so miserable, and I had to hide my misery for several hours, not getting refueled by my misery. And I go home, I'm like, man, I was gonna go out tonight, but I'm just gonna go to bed. I'm so tired from hanging out with Zan. Why is that? Because he's so happy. So realize that if you're not able to handle, like you've got to train your body to be ready to win. You've got to train your body to be able to handle something beautiful, something amazing. You've got to train your body for that and your spirit, okay? You can tangibly feel what's going on, okay?
I noticed it.
Good, that's good, because I've noticed it too myself. Over time, as you realize how much power your being has, as much how much power your doing has, and when you see that you can create, you can be a creator of higher level realities, you will come to accept it over time, and you have to cultivate an inner wiring that can receive that much light, okay? Have you ever noticed that as you raise up, other people can't go with you?
Yes.
That's because, but here's what's scary. I've had it where I am 100% sure that I raised up, but the other people that I left behind, they believe that they actually raised up by losing me. So be careful in the mind. And many of these people are very smart. And they actually believe that they were like, I'm moving onward and upward now that I got Owen out of my life. So I see that, I'm like, geez, I gotta be careful because clearly your mind can be tricked. Like these people are very tricked. And you see the results after I'm out of their life and it was really bad. But then they tell you that it's better. Even though it's more limited and more sad and more pathetic by almost every measurable metric. But they believe that in their mind. So be very, very, very careful with what you believe and don't just say, oh, that's them, not me, okay? But yeah, so basically, as you raise your vibration, some commonalities are less thinking and more awareness. Life is less thinking, more awareness. Repeat this after me. Less thinking, more awareness.
Less thinking and more awareness.
Life is easy, not hard.
Life is easy, not hard.
You're at the cause and not the effect.
You're at the cause and not the effect.
Now, do you remember when I said that, like, for example, a girl might not realize a real man and how hard it was to build what he built? In reality, via that struggle that you go through, the big payoff will be those three things. Less thinking, more awareness. Life is easy, not hard. You're at the cause, not the effect. That's why I always say I'm lazy. I'm fucking lazy. Because I'm a creator who doesn't need to work all day, every day. I can, on average, do a 50x result to somebody who works all day by working about a month or two a year. That's normal, but it's hard to just flip a switch and get there. Usually what happens is you have to go through that process by all the toil to learn to shut off the thinking, to learn that life actually is easy, to learn that you're the cause, not the effect. So, you know, there's an old analogy about this where there's a building and there's shit all through the building. They call it a plumber. There's shit everywhere, right? And the plumber comes up and there's shit everywhere. The plumber comes up, he goes dunk, 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 turns a little nozzle. The shit turns off, the building is saved. Hands a bill, $10,000. And the owner of the building says, $10,000 to turn a knob, that's crazy. He goes, I want detailed building. He goes, cool. Turning the knob, $1. The 3 decades that it took to learn where to turn the knob, $9,999. That's why for me, I'm lazy, because I know where the knobs are. But here's the thing. You can only recognize where the knobs are when you're spiritually at a point that you resonate with the knobs. You can't see the knobs until you resonate with the knobs. So you have to raise spiritually to resonate with the knobs. And that is what I was saying about the Kabbalion and how it can be hard to look at, or the Bible can be hard to look at, because it's showing you your infinite nature. And as a result of that, you're seeing how incredible you are. And suddenly you suddenly see where the knobs are, and you're like, whoa, I know where the knobs are. This is so crazy, and you're not ready. And it's intense, and the parasite doesn't want you to see the knobs, because the parasite knows that if you saw the knobs, the parasite would die. Okay? If the parasite allowed you to see these little switches that would make your life easy, it would die. So as a result, you look at TikTok all day, but never marketing. You'll smoke weed all day, but you'll never read Alex Hormozy. You'll gossip all day, but you'll never read Power of Now. You see where I'm going with this? So, you know, it's just one of those things, right? It's the same thing as when you're selling programs. Like when I sell programs, I've sold many programs that are so I've got expensive programs for sure, but I've sold many programs that are so inexpensive, anybody could do them, but they'll hide from that program. That's actually because my form of training is so results oriented and so aggressive. The biggest sales resistance that I have is that the person's scared they'd actually have the result. So I have to either I have 2 ways that I can sell. I either have to spiritually elevate them to the point where they resonate with actually having results. That's one way I can do it. Or I have to frame it in that way of like, it's all this kind of, this like hokey pokey, like we're all gonna be rich, we're all gonna date. I have to do one of the, like I have to take one of those 2 paths when I'm selling. Likewise with dating, you would either have to prepare your partner to be ready spiritually for the most incredible possible person they could ever meet, or you play the more kind of fuckboy type personality where you're this kind of like just fun guy that just, you know, you kind of do that thing. But you got to kind of commit to one direction or the other. And if you mix them, you're not going to get the best result. I mean, try. Tell me what happens. Yeah, but I mean, you know what like a proper pickup looks like. It's like jokey, it's like fun, like now we're going here, like oh after party. It's like it's all this like disassociate, like yeah, like it's all this like fake crap. A couple of quick things. Your vibe attracts your tribe. We've all heard that cliche. So as you raise, other people suddenly become in your periphery and you connect with each other. So you'll find other people at that higher level. That's what I'm telling you guys. You've got to get into better mentoring groups, better mastermind group. Your vibe attracts your tribe. You've got to force yourself into these higher levels of reality. You know, if you bring a homeless person to your mansion, you think that they're going to, like, you know, you clean him up, right? You bring the homeless person to the mansion, you clean him up. You know, he's got a meth habit, a crack habit. You clean him up, get him a haircut, put him in a suit. You're still going to find him in the basement doing meth. He's not ready to actually have life be good yet, okay? Another kind of weird thing, if you actually look, you can see, there's a book called Levels of Energy by Fred Dodson you can read. It's very interesting. Got a lot of wacky stuff in it, but very interesting. You can actually see like something like In-N-Out hamburger. That's pedestalized by people at a certain reality. But if you go to In-N-Out, you're like, this is the thing. But to them, because all that they could eat is like McDonald's or Burger King, In-N-Out is a better version, and to them that's actually like amazing. So it's kind of weird when you think about it, right? So that's like another kind of bizarre thing to notice, okay? But yeah, if you try to bring someone into a light beyond the in and out paradigm, like you bring that same person to a beautiful place, it's actually too much for them. They actually get mad at you. That's why anyone into personal growth, you try to help your parents and you show them things and they're just like, ugh, like, you know, the parasite that's still there and their inability to handle that good of a reality, they can't handle it. So you kind of have to like engage with them where they're at. It's just kind of unfortunate. And it's very hard to pull people out of it. Another big thing, even people who seem high vibe are often faking, just because people fake the funk with this all the time. What they do is they intellectualize what a high vibe looks like, and then they say all the right things. Don't believe it, look at their actions, and look at what they focus on, okay? So for example, a lot of people just kind of like, you know, say that they're attracted to you, or they're dating you, or they want to be friends with you, or they want to work with you. They're gonna frame match you. So they're gonna tell you what you want to hear. So don't believe anything off the bat. So yeah, you had a big epiphany there, I can tell, because you'll date people who like you, they scan you, and then what happens is that as they're scanning you, that's not a coincidence, but I'm telling you, as they're scanning you, I'm telling you that's not a coincidence. As they're scanning you, what's happening is they're hearing what they can tell what you want to hear, and they just say it to you. I know, when I realized that too, because I'm like, I met someone who's like perfect, and then you realize that they're just scanning you, feeding you back what you want to hear. So you have to actually look at what they're doing. Be honest with yourself about who that person is, what is their lifestyle, what are the results before believing, you know, what it is that they're saying, and if that's like where they are spiritually, okay? It's hard, here's another one. It's hard when you're kind of lonely, and it's hard to meet someone at that level, and you so badly want to meet someone at that level that if they just say the right things, you're gonna believe it. So realize that too, that people say stuff, they're not necessarily there, okay? It leads you to try to be a Captain Save-A-Ho and try to save people. You cannot save people. You'll see, because maybe you're dating someone, you try to save them, as soon as you break up, they go right back to smoking weed, they go right back to being angry, all that stuff. They weren't energetically there. You're trying to drag someone physically into an energetic space that they are not at their own point in evolution. They could get there. They could totally get there. And many of those people probably will, but they're not there now. So yeah, you just have to be honest with yourself about that. They could totally get there eventually. Many people in my life from my past, like I super think will get there, but they just weren't quite there yet, okay? Oh, by the way, often those people who you lose rapidly will make up for lost time. So say that you got them off weed. Like say you got them off weed for 2 years, they'll make damn sure that they smoke all the weed that they would have within those 2 years in like a month. Okay, so they will magically like make up the debt of pain that they didn't get. It's crazy. You'll see this when they are out of your life. So realize that, you know, when you're selecting people to bring in your life, you can't deny them their karmic destiny, their energetic destiny. They need their own pain to grow, just like you did, and that's why saving people didn't work. So what I would tell you guys is that another way of looking at it is that we're all running from God. And God, to me, and there's many ways that we could define God, but a way of defining it is looking at reality absolutely as objectively as possible, with the blacks, with the whites, with the gray in between, and loving all of it in its totality and seeing it for what it actually is, and having gratitude for that reality and being present to that reality. And the more that we can do that, the more that we can actually get the feedback that we need, not living in a fantasy world of like, we're all gonna make it, and I'm on my big destiny, like the person in Game of Thrones, but then got killed in the Red Wedding, right? But actually just recognizing like, maybe this isn't leading to this to this crescendo of everything being perfect. Like maybe in Game of Thrones, even though it didn't lead to the crescendo, like the end is just the Red Wedding, maybe your life ends with you getting cancer, you getting in a car accident, you dying of a heart attack, or what, you know, maybe you being kidnapped and tortured to death. But what you don't realize is that that future that you're always looking for, that crescendo that you're waiting for, that was not God. God is always in the now. And so on that journey, say take Game of Thrones, like yeah, maybe they get killed in the end of the Red Wedding, but God was not about waiting for that ending. It was about every single moment as it unfolds. And so there's great beauty in life. There's great potential in life. You actually can do incredible, incredible things. And that reality starts right now. This moment is incredible. And it's in recognition of this exact moment as being incredible. This moment, not when we go out tonight, not tomorrow, not when you get the money, now. Well, if it's so incredible, then why would we go get money, or why would we go do fun things? No, the cup runneth over. In recognition of how beautiful this moment is, we become so enlivened that we want to take action. My son Tristan, if he comes in here, has eyes so bright that none of us could compete with it. It's so bright. And he has so much energy, and so we say, oh, well, a kid has all that. Look at all that energy that a kid has. A 5-year-old child does not have more energy than a grown adult. But Tristan will appear to have, he'll have more energy when he's older, but Tristan will appear to have more energy because he loves every single moment. You'll watch Tristan, because he's not in that trance, every moment is to be savored. I mean, if he walks from here to you, he will savor every millisecond of the walk from here to you. Like if I tell Tristan we're gonna hike up Runyon Canyon in LA, I can't just go, let's blast to the top. He wants to stop and play with the rocks. He wants to stop and play with the grass. He wants to stop and sing a song. He wants to run up and down a little bit. He wants to throw stuff at you. He wants to ask questions. He wants to say hi to people. And maybe you make it, and maybe you don't. But that's life. You set a big goal, you go after it, maybe you get there, maybe you don't. But we don't need to live in this fake reality of a Hollywood movie where it all works out in the end. Maybe it doesn't work out. But that's okay, because it already did. It worked out in that journey that you took. And that is why you find beauty no matter what. So even that whole Hollywood type reality of the happy ending is a part of the parasite. It's always putting happiness into the future, rather than, as Eckhart Tolle would say, we find happiness in the now. We find reality in the now. We find reality in the black, the white, the gray. We love life. We do things that show that we reflect that we love life. We allow our consciousness to raise. We move up. We recognize where we're at. We have urgency to move up, but we also enjoy every step as we move up. We enjoy backsliding even as we move up. And we just keep at it, and we keep going along our journey. And God is found in the totality of life, not in some fake ass, it's all for you and this. No. Some people meet very, very brutal ends, and bad stuff happens, and it may happen to you. Okay, I spent a long time in a wheelchair this year and was in brutal pain for quite a long time. And I found God in that, because even in that pain, I found God in that. In fact, more so than even if I'm in pleasure, to be honest with you, right? Because it forced me to just to use all those skills that I'd built for many, many, many years, getting attuned and tapped in. I had to stay in that point for a long period of time. So it was actually, I felt preparation for me for some of the things that are coming for me. Okay, so that leg accident, I said, okay, I think that I'm moving into a different reality now. I'm moving into a different reality, and I'm going to breathe through this pain for several months. I'm going to breathe through it, accept it, and love it. Love the pain, love what is, right? So again, we think, oh, like take my little course and you'll have all these girls and money and all this, right? The reality is real evolution means that God trusts you enough to give you that pain or to give you that horrible ending, and then your soul moves somewhere else, or so on and so forth, and to show you that so that you can continue to evolve. It's not this child version, right? It's an adult version, okay? Milk for babes, meat for strong men. So when you can find beauty in that, now what happens is that the mind becomes a lot more clear. Okay, the clouds part, and life becomes a lot more fun. Life becomes actually happier because you're not dependent on the external as much, but also you can go actually produce things. And then what starts to happen is that now your mind is not consumed by this parasite, and you start to see the answers. You're like, oh, that's the answer there. I should read that. I should go talk to this person. I need to take this course. I need to get these people to help me. These are the actions I need to take. I need to install these habits. Boom, I have the result that I want. Then you go do something fun, but you realize, even when you're in that thing that's fun, you had fun the whole damn time. Okay, so that's playing as an adult and not just being in a dissociated trance. That's, now you're the woman who would date Jocko, not the woman who will scream at Harry Styles, okay? Or Sarah said at a K-pop star, okay? It's called growing up, okay? Now, when I ask you guys about this, you guys feel like a little bit scared by it a little bit? Because you should, okay? So if you don't feel a little bit scared right now, you weren't listening, okay? You should feel a little bit scared. You should feel a little bit intense. But you should feel inspired because you went, wait a minute, I'm here in this room getting an answer that I need. I came to this room because I'm ready to get an answer that I need. If someone watched a video at home, you watch this video to the end because you're ready to get an answer that you need. Think of how small the views on this video will be. You think this is going to be a highly viewed video? Hell no, it doesn't feed the parasite. This will be a low viewed video. This will be a video that will age well, but won't be received right away, okay? And so understand, and I know that when I'm making it. So, and really there should be videos thousands of times better than this. Like I should do this better, I should be like able to do this even better. And there should be other people doing it better. And we should all be doing it better. And this should be common knowledge, okay? But, sometimes we go to school, we learn a little bit about like math and a little bit of Shakespeare and a little bit of science, but we don't actually realize the school of life, okay? So what I'm trying to show you is the school of life, how to live a profound life and how to live an authentic life. And it's there, okay? And you can really do this. And so a lot of what you guys even see me doing, where, this was a more chilled out speech, right? But, for someone, I didn't record my earlier speeches, but, how would you guys describe for people watching at home the energy that I was giving in my earlier speeches?
Fantastic.
Okay, what else did you guys say?
Energetic.
Funny.
A lot of energy. Do you guys see the degree of energy that we're able to manifest in the room and able to bring in the room? You guys see that?
Inspiring.
Okay, you see that level of energy? That energy comes from directly touching reality and being energized by unfiltered contact with reality. So what happens is you're not waiting for the money or the girl or the TikTok or the validation or the weed to get energy. Reality itself is feeding you. That's what you're seeing earlier, okay? Reality itself is feeding you. So this is something where, people will see what I do and they go, well, that's just Owen. He's this wacky guy. He has stamina. Just got a lot of energy, different. I'm showing you how to be that. I didn't come out the box like this. This is something that I chased. So, and I'm not perfect with it. I'm just showing you what I figured out. Okay, I've got a lot to learn. So what I'm showing you is when the mind quiets and you're touching reality directly, everything energizes you. So even with the leg thing that I had, it taught me, I have to go deeper now. Okay, your pain shows you, wait, to find that spiritual energy, I have to go deeper now. So in life, these sad things are gonna happen that are gonna drive you to go deeper. It's like, if trees have roots and there's water relatively convenient, but the water runs out, it's gotta stretch the root system out, okay? So for me, when I broke my leg and I spent half a year in a wheelchair, was I growing like a tree? I was actually getting better roots. Maybe that is bamboo, I don't know. Bamboo has thick roots?
You're gonna go boom, exponential growth.
Well, what happens is, I'm not quite sure what you're saying, but I just like your energy. But but the point is that I'll pull out my Wikipedia later. But the point being is like the roots are growing. So what's happening to me is I'm in pain. Now that pain went for months, brutal pain for months. Okay, the people in the ambulance stuff were crying, like they were really upset with it. It was really bad, and I'm just in pain, permanent pain. It's all you know is pain. Feels like you've been there forever, and you're like, wait, even with my spiritual trading, I'm gonna have to go deeper to get past this. And so immediately in the hospital, I began going deeper. And you'd actively see the nurses and the doctors in the hospital freaked out because I'm refusing painkiller. I took a couple painkillers like right at the start after the surgery, that's about it. I'm refusing the painkiller and they're getting freaked out. And I'm asking them how they're doing and I'm cracking jokes and they're all like, and they're like, are you okay? I'm like, how are you doing, right? Now I'm in excruciating pain, but I'm looking for those places. I'm like, my leg's broken, 50% chance I'm never gonna walk again. I never thought that would happen to me. More present, more gratitude, still the mind. I'm in permanent pain. It's been there for weeks or even months. Still the mind. Don't hide from it. Okay, you know those drugs like fentanyl, all those, what's that other one they sniff? That's the one they sniff? Ketamine, all that. It's a dissociative, right? Immediately when they gave me those painkillers, like oxys and stuff, right after the surgery, I'm like, oh, this is just a dissociative. It's just a dissociative. I'm like, I don't want to disassociate. I want to associate. I associate to the pain, and I have to find beauty in that pain. Okay, and I'm finding beauty in that pain. I knew at that moment I was being called on to go deeper. I've got to go deeper. To do what I want to do, I've got to go deeper, which means learning to gain energy from unfiltered contact with reality. Okay, so have you ever heard of things like alloplastic defenses or autoplastic defenses? There's things like narcissism or BPD or cluster B are when different defenses of the mind, like splitting and all stuff, are basically used to hide are used as like the tires and the shock absorbers for reality, because reality would be too harsh. Okay, We all have our own shock absorbers and tires that make reality a little bit that are meant to make reality a little bit less harsh, right? But what we have to do is we don't want to just rely on these cheap gimmicks to do that. We have to go directly to reality, but be so spiritually tapped in that we can connect to it directly. And now all of a sudden, all these new lanes start to open up. The answers come to you, and it's preparing you for something bigger. And what happens is it also gives you this sort of, it gives you this kind of guru-like, larger-than-life type personality because you're manifesting energy differently. So, if you see, like, for myself, because I didn't really have, like, I mean, there's different books you can read and things like that are amazing, Tao Te Ching, Bible, all these books. But I didn't have a direct teacher to learn this from, even though I've had great teachers and learned, like, little pieces. So I was sort of trying to figure this out myself, similar to when I taught myself all the dating stuff. I'm just kind of going into, like, different little areas, like, rather than walking on the trail that's already there, I'm kind of running into the forest, like, there's a path in here somewhere, we're gonna find it, right? So you're being a bit of a pioneer, and I'm looking for these different lanes to get the energy that I need. Because so many of the things that I was going through were so hard, and so many of the goals that I had were so big, that for me, hard work wasn't gonna get me there. Like, I couldn't get to where I needed with hard work. I couldn't get to where I needed with the tools that I had. So I had to get it, like, to build what I wanna build, I had to go so much deeper. I had to be focused like a laser, but able to take in energy from everywhere. So the way that this looks in the end is everything, like the table is energizing you, the computer's energizing you, the water bottle's energizing you, your breath is energizing you, talking is energizing you, movement is energizing you, you feel gratitude, you feel present, it's energizing you. But then you take the mind and you pull all that in, and as a creator, you're taking in that degree of energy and that much light, because you're seeing that as light. Rather than only this is light, only that is light. You're taking the light, you pull it in, and your system has to be wired to take that much light, and then like a laser, and then you focus in the mind, and okay? And it's like you become the thing that you're doing. So you pull it in, and you become, like, you merge into that thing, and you're just everything. And now you've done what's called losing yourself. Say the word lose yourself. So you've lost yourself, and you become fully immersed into that process of what you're doing. You're just in it. You are it, because you are nothing and you are everything. Do you see that? Say that you are nothing, and you are everything. And it's simultaneous. It's two sides of the same coin. So you're sitting there. You're like, oh, I'm Owen. Then now we're doing this now. We put our thing in that. We go in there. Now we're there. Pull back. Now you're Owen. Now you're you. Okay. So it's that ability to just fully immerse in what you're doing, which makes it easier, and everything's energizing you. You're not distracted. You're not looking for shit talk or gossip or processed foods or weed or any of this, right, to get energy. You're just getting energy. Those are like cheap for the masses. That's like the cheap stuff. All these little drugs and stuff is for people that are just very, very spiritually uninvolved, no clue out where to get energy from. So they're just, oh, I'm getting it from here. Oh, I had the trance. The trance showed me the underlying reality. It's like, okay, bro, just go back. And so, but that might be at least a reference experience for them to show them that that's there. But then, okay, well, you got the lesson now. Sober up, homie. Let's go. Let's start now, bro. Like, you saw the preview. Can we watch the movie now? Let's go. So that's where the mind will take you. And what will wind up happening if you listen to what I tell you is, like I said, you'll think a lot less. There'll be a lot less thinking, just a lot more straight awareness. Life will become very, very easy, including things that are super hard to most people, like crazy hard to most people. You'll do it effortlessly. And likewise, you'll realize that you're the cause, not the effect, because you'll be tapping into your creator nature. You're not a consumer. You're in creator consciousness. And everything's inspiring you, and you're taking that in, and you're learning to open your mind up and just to let things in, and you let your mind kind of take you into different places and into almost a partial dream state. And then in that partial dream state, you're just creating. It's just coming through, and you're seeing what's coming out. And then you'll see as you are creating something, and you're wanting to control it, you're like, oh, I'm gonna look so cool. Like, that's the devil. I'm gonna look so cool. Me, right? And you go, ugh, you're like, just blah, just stop, and just go back into the flow. You just go back into the flow, and then you just let it keep creating. So you'll see this thing's being created, and then you're like, me, I'm gonna look cool, and then it's like, it gets all weird, and you go, stop. and you just keep letting it come through. But it scares you because you're getting so much, that creative process is giving you so much light. You're getting so much, by creating, what are you doing? You're tapping in your creator, right? Because your creator, what's the nature of your creator? Creation and love. When you choose to give rather than just to take, when you choose to make it about others and not just about yourself, when you go not into just a consumption, but into your creator nature, you are calling on God. And what happens, you quiet the mind, and what happens is you're now talking to God, but not like a schizophrenic's like, hi, God, and God's like, hey, there's the aliens coming for you, and the government's surveilling you, which ironically is real. Like, make Orwell fiction again. But anyway, so, and like that. But what talking to God means is it's a combination of giving, creation, love, presence, still the mind, and watch what thoughts come. Watch in that place that's the most high. Go into nature. Watch when you're in unfiltered reality. Watch the thoughts come. And what'll happen is you can have a thought, and then you'll feel tension and contraction in that thought. You go, no, that's not it. So you're tuning you're tuning a lens, okay? So you're tuning the lens, and then you go broaden the lens so that you're not just getting energy from, I'm in control and I'm getting recognition. You broaden the lens. And then you feel more open. You're like, okay, I'm broadening the lens. And you're feeling energy from everything. You're broadening the lens. And then you have a thought. And you go, okay, that's a higher level thought. And then you tune the lens a bit more, like that. And now you're just sitting there open. And then you'll start to cry. That's what'll happen. You'll go, oh my God. You'll be like, you'll just start crying. You're like that, because what's happening is it's so much light that you recognize your simultaneous smallness and infinite nature, and you're seeing it at the same time, but you're not thinking it like, I'm Owen. It's not like that. It's something anyone can do. And what'll happen is it just opens up, and then what happens is that as you ease into that, and you're letting in that much light, you're acclimating your system to that much light. So then what you're doing is is in the process of giving, when you're giving all the time, giving all the time, creating all the time, not making it about you or chasing validation all the time. It's like in the Sermon on the Mount when they say when you give, do it in secret, don't do it to get recognition. What you're doing is you're bringing light. As soon as you give to get recognition, what happens? It's a different process. It's still good to give. It's whether for recognition or not, it's still good to give. I think it could also be good to inspire others to give. Sometimes you should show it. But there also has to be a separate practice where you do it not for recognition, but for attunement, okay, to tune in. And it's that practice. And what happens is the harder something is, like the harder it is to open your palm and just let go and give, the more light that comes in. So it's like, I don't want to give this away. And you just do it, right? So people that you see that are really spiritually elevated, they'll quote unquote give you the shirt off their back. Maybe they really like that shirt. And they're like, hey, I like that shirt. And they just take it off. And you're like, dude, like, it's chill. Like, I don't need your shirt. But they want to give it to you. I remember I was on an airplane one day, and I could recognize in people's eyes where they are spiritually. And my girlfriend at that time, many years ago, she got given first class. And a very spiritual guy was beside her. And I went to the back, and I'm like, yeah, I knew that guy's going to come in a minute, and he's going to tell me to go up with my girlfriend at the time and to sit there. I already knew. And I know that because I can tell where it's very obvious actually. I know that because I can tell the path he's on. So what's gonna happen is, he's gonna sit, like, instead of sitting in the seat with 2 seats and the hand towel, the hot nap or whatever it is, the lemon hot nap, he'll go in the seats with 3 people, but he's gonna open himself up to God. And so, boom, he's right to the back, okay? So you wanna have a practice, whatever it is for you, okay? Whatever it is for you, that is allowing you to do that, what's going to happen is that's going to open you up. But then what's going to happen is you're going to see things more clearly from that point, and then you can finally have the eyes to see. Then you'll finally have the ears to hear. All these solutions that you're being given will suddenly become obvious to you. And so what's going to happen is you're going to get 3 primary changes, okay? The first is you're finally going to get access to your own will. You never even had access to your own will before. So you weren't even a person before. You're an automaton. You're going to get access to your own will. The second thing that's going to happen is you're finally going to have discernment. You're finally going to have the eyes to see. You're going to see what's in front of you and how to find the resources to get that will. The third is you're going to get independent access to it. Look at me. You're going to get independent access to a transcendent state. Okay? You're going to get independent access to a transcendent state. What's the first one? Say the word will.
Will.
The second one is discernment.
Discernment.
The third one is access to a transcendent state.
Access to a transcendent state.
Okay, so what's good? So the way that this is going to look is, rather than being puppeted, you know how right now you struggle to even do what you're supposed to do? You're not going to struggle anymore. That's why I say the best way to be a millionaire is lazy, not trying that hard. Because you would just effortlessly just always do the correct thing. Okay, or whatever would lead to growth, even if it's the wrong thing, but it would lead to growth and eventually the right thing.
What about rationalization, where you're like,
You wouldn't have as much as that. That begins to erode. It just becomes because you now resonate higher, so you don't want all this shit where the parasite is trying to make you rationalize to keep you just doing a bunch of dumb shit. It doesn't want that anymore. You just want good stuff. You're like most people that I'm talking to out on the street, I'm like they're looking at pop. Why do they like pop culture? Because they don't get what they want from it. It's called, say the word what else?
What else?
Say the word opportunity cost.
Opportunity.
So what happens is they're specifically watching things that lead to nowhere that isn't even entertaining. It's not even good. It's one thing if it's good, right? That's different because that's valuable in and of itself. But a lot of the stuff they're watching isn't even good, but it feels good because it's blocking them from the opportunity cost of getting to somewhere better, which would kill the parasite. Things like drugs do not actually get you high. You're not actually high. What's happening with those drugs is because they're hurting you and they're locking you in a certain paradigm, it gives you a false light. It's a false high, which makes you believe it's a high. But actually all that you're getting out of it is bad stuff, but it will make it feel good. It fucks your discernment and makes it feel good because you're not moving forward, because you're not expanding, because you're contracting, because you're blowing holes in your energetic defenses and demons can get in, because it's making parasites. So it feels good. Like if you date the wrong person, it might feel good initially, okay? You get this sort of, there's two different types of high, like a beautiful, peaceful high, and this kind of weird frenetic high. And you get this sort of frenetic high, and that creates addiction, okay? So, but you have to realize that things other than heroin can also create addiction. Just the regular world, or gossip, or conversations, or bullshit, or pop culture is also an addiction. It disassociates you, takes you away from your journey. It's all just like this, you know in the Odyssey where they stop off, it's like the island of Calypso, or island of the lotus plant? You guys know that in the Odyssey? They just stop at the island of the lotus plant. It's like, bro, you're going home, you're going to your family, you're going to your wife, you're going to Telemachus, you're going to your son, but they stop off on this like island and they just get distracted, or the sirens suck them into the waves. Oh, the sirens, I get sucked in the waves. You go back to God, that light, and it's just meant to it just wipes away all the lies, all the deception, all this weird house of mirrors that you're in, all this fog of war that you're in and deception, and it just goes shh, like that, and you're just like, okay, we're going over there now. And you just go over there, and now you have access to your will, you have access to your own discernment, you have access to your own flow states and independent transcendent states, so you don't even need to get there. You can enjoy the whole process of getting there, just like my son Tristan. And that is heaven on earth. So that is why heaven or hell is what I'm showing you here is something that is both in the afterlife, but it also starts today. Personal growth. I'm not even just saying myself or whatever, but just the general concept of personal growth, real personal growth, not the fake, oh, everyone's gonna be awesome, or weird like, you'll be happy when you make $1 million, right? But real personal growth, real spirituality. That to me is so tied in with the dissolving of those lower realities and of allowing you to move up. It's such a powerful, powerful, powerful topic. And I think it's very arrogant, but they're often like, oh, only the elect will like look at this. They'll kind of make this like, only the elect see this stuff, which I think is just this narcissistic way of like feeling better than everybody else, very cultish. But there is some seed of truth in there as well, where only a certain kind of person is able to see this. And that's just where we are collectively at. But what's happening is that you're seeing that human beings have greater capacity to vote in the wrong government, to go to war, nuclear bombs, bio threats, AI, and so we need a human awakening project. And we need to have a larger collective awakening because we simply have too many ways to destroy ourselves. We have to build a human awakening project. We have to build a human awakening project. We have to wake up. So thank you guys very much for hearing me out. I appreciate it. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. Gave you my best. That was fun. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being a part of it.